Welcome back. Welcome in to 104.5 The Zone. If you're just now joining us, if you've been hanging out with us so far this morning, the Will Smith portion of the program, we're going to go ahead and put a bow on it because Lucas, I guess it's not breaking news since you technically put it in your breaking news update at the top of the hour, but you want to give me the sound anyway?
Breaking Titans news on 104.5 The Zone.
Okay. This from Nate Rao at Axios.com. Scoop, Governor Bill Lee proposes $500 million toward the new Titans Stadium. So, after the team's intent was to not have this be publicly funded, seems like Governor Bill Lee wants to go ahead and give him the money anyway. That's curious to me. Now, I've DM'd Nate. I'd love to get him on to talk about things, and we've got a lot more stuff to talk about later on in the show. But just so you know, Bill Lee is asking, according to the reporting by our buddy Nate Rao, Bill Lee's asking the Tennessee State Legislature to approve $500 million in bonds towards a new Titan Stadium as part of his amended budget.
Which would not finance the entire project.
No, this is going to be, if you're accounting for inflation, Lucas, look up for me what the Falcon Stadium cost to build, the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, because I believe that's about 4 years old at this point. I think that came with a price tag somewhere in the ballpark of $1.2 billion.
Well, the article projects a $2 billion price tag.
Right, so I'm accounting for inflation over the course of the last couple of years, distribution issues that all of us have experienced in any way, shape, or form, whether you've ordered furniture or, car floor mats like I did that took way too long to get here. Like, all of these things are going to account for a greater cost than it would still cost about 1.2 to renovate the damn thing. So the thinking at this point is, why not just spend 2 and get a new one? Now, Bill Lee seems to think, and listen, Bill Lee's not doing this, no strings attached. One, not just with what it would mean for the structure, but two, I assume that the governor would consider this to be a political win for him if he was to back funding for a new Titan Stadium. So I'm certain he's not making an uncalculated decision by just offering, hey, here's $500 million. We'll cover a quarter of it if you agree to X, Y, and Z. These are the stipulations. The details, according to Nate Rao. The financial commitment comes with major strings attached. The money must go towards an enclosed stadium, not an open-air stadium or a renovation. So he's saying if you want our $500 million from the state, you can't put it into Nissan as it currently exists. And whatever you build, you got to have some kind of a roof on it. Whether that's a retractable roof, whether that's a dome, whether that's what SoFi has, where it's kind of that weird sliver of air between the actual roof and the stadium structure itself, where, John Gruden is furious because you're having to stop games for lightning delays in an otherwise enclosed stadium. So the state funds also, Nate adds, are contingent on the Titans and the city agreeing on a broader financing package. I would love to speak to Nate so I could understand what a broader financing package exactly means, because it was my understanding that the preferred method, at least they said it out loud to make people feel better, if nothing else, on the front end. Yeah, we don't want your money. We're going to do this, right? That was basically the way that they put it in front of people last time when they floated, price tag on a renovation. Get a little steep, kids. May want to explore some other possibilities. Maybe a shiny new stadium. That sound good to you? Sounds good to us. Sounds like a better use of our money. So what Bill Lee is banking on here is, one, that he's going to have the public backing, and two, that it will help influence the Tennessee Titans to create a facility, to build a facility that would encourage Super Bowls, college football playoff games. Whether you're talking about the national title game in college basketball, right? The Final Four to be hosted here in Nashville. What other massive stadium-sized events? We already have concerts at Nissan, and we're going to get concerts at Nissan and Bridgestone regardless of what the venue is because of the nature of our city. But to get the things that they really, really want, which is a Super Bowl in Nashville, they're going to push as many buttons as they can to make sure that that comes their way, because that's a whole lot of money. Whole lot of money. State would make up that $500 million real quick if Nashville was automatically placed into rotation for Super Bowls, because that is also something that the NFL has made promises on. If teams are building new Super Bowls, they're going to be put into rotation if teams are building new stadiums, they are going to be inserted into the rotation for Super Bowls. SoFi just had it. Vegas has it, I think next year, if I recall correctly. They have the draft this year already, but that's not necessarily a string that comes attached. Vegas got the Super Bowl next year?
No, it's in Arizona next year. It's in Phoenix.
Vegas, I believe, the year after.
In Glendale, right?
You may fact check me on that. Yeah, the Cardinals are good. Yeah, that's right, because the Waste Management Open is the same week as the Super Bowl this year, and I would like to go to that. Anyway, 615-737-1045. You can jump in with your comments, questions, thoughts, opinions on the idea that the state is offering $500 million in bonds to help the Titans build a new stadium. I mean, what's the big picture, right? The big picture is that a new, enclosed, or somehow domed stadium that would create all kinds of renovation around the East Bank. Where they're saying right now, I believe Burke Nihill, the president of the Titans, had been on record at, and I can't remember, I think it was like a Metro Sports Authority meeting that he was speaking at. He said they had not necessarily, or at least I'm paraphrasing here, he had said that they had not necessarily done this with the intention of completely renovating the East Bank, like not just a new stadium, but like a sports and entertainment district, basically, like what the Patriots have at Patriot Place. Or, I mean, hell, what they're hoping kind of grows organically around Geodis Park, right, in Berry Hill, with the soccer stadium and the NASCAR track. I mean, that's what the Braves have gotten in Atlanta, or outside of Atlanta, when they moved it outside of Metro Atlanta. The Battery is one of the best places to go, even if you're not that interested in the baseball itself. You got plenty of things to do that you can have a great weekend with friends, family, loved ones about, to go or to things around a Braves game. And if you want to walk into the Braves game too, you have that option. Now, the NFL is a little different, right? And what they have been wanting for so long, one, is legitimate renovation, legitimate attraction on the East Bank, so that they're not wasting time with people drinking, pre-gaming on Lower Broad, then having to leave the bar, then walk down Lower Broadway, then cross the pedestrian bridge, then gain access to Nissan Stadium. And, and they've done well, by the way. They've done well to upgrade the situation on how people get into the stadium. I haven't experienced it personally for a Titans game, but for like the Stadium Series, the Preds game, their new upgraded security protocols, or it's not necessarily a metal detector, but the system that they have you walk through, it's far more streamlined, in my understanding, than the way that things were done in years past. So that's a credit to them. But it's time spent. You could be spending money with the Titans as opposed to be, spending money at Rippies or Tootsie's or wherever your pregame spot of choice is on Lower Broadway. They want you to drink with them. They want you to spend their money with them. You know why? Because they got a new dome stadium they want to pay for, and they want to do it with your dollars, beer, pretzels, hot dogs, whatever they got to do, but they want you to do it with them. 615-737-1045. You can jump in if you like. G-Man in Mississippi calling us, wants to chime in on the stadium. What's up, G-Man?
Hey, Buck Reising. The $500 million and everything, that'll be interesting. I'm a PSL holder from day one, so it'll be interesting if they just wipe the current PSL, factor out and make us start all over. That's concerning to me. Number two.
Well, and G-Man, before you move on to two, if I could just chime in,
yeah.
I think that's very, very much where that's headed right now in the initial discussions. Like I would think new stadium, new PSLs.
Thanks for that good news there, Buck.
Sorry.
Number two, I think it needs to be retractable dome, just not a standard dome. I mean, if you do a standard dome, I just think that kind of pigeonholes some things. We do have some great weather here in the fall where an October game, even an early November game would be great to have that roof open instead of having it closed all the time. And you talk about a closed roof, like when the last Garth Stadium concert got rained out.
Oh, I was there.
Stormed out. So that would alleviate any of that on that. And lastly, I've been to the Mercedes Dome there in Atlanta. It is, and I've been to SoFi, not bragging, but I've had the opportunity to go to those places. And both of those, along with Allegiant, are great stadiums. But I hope, no matter what they do, to a degree, you're talking about drinking and eating and trying to get people to do that, they have to, come up with the Arthur Blank theory on these concessions to make it like $1 hot dog and stuff like that to get people to interact.
Thank you, G-Man. I think he was getting the point. I think he got there. Oscar Music means you have exceeded the 60-second phone call limit. Although, Lucas, I think you were scared. I'm calling chicken bleep on you earlier. You didn't want to hit people with the music.
Oh, I didn't want to hit people with the music.
Well, there was one I didn't want you to hit with the music because I thought that would have, lasting implications on both of our reputations. And that I'm trying to avoid. I did that for you. You're welcome. G-Man, your point well made. You know what I'm saying? Like this is cost-benefit analysis. And, whether it's coming physically, if you are a Davidson County resident, whether it's coming directly in the form of your taxes or not, you are going to be making up for the cost of this stadium in some form or fashion. But we can continue to talk about this throughout the course of the day. Certainly a lot to talk about locally and implications that it could have. But when we come back, Coach Casey Alexander of the Belmont men's basketball team, he's our tournament analyst. And honestly, this has been as much fun as I've had watching the tournament as I can remember. We're going to talk basketball with Coach Alexander coming up next.